Alrighty, well, good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody had a great New Year's celebration. I know I did, as well as Takata, Cassandra, and Marley. That was a whole lot of fun down in Madtown, and I know Quaddy had a blast over at the W. So anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. And I was talking about it for the last couple months of 2019. And so for today, I've actually decided to get started and show you a little bit of the world of DJ Bretley's head and how I mix. But yeah, so day in the life of this DJ. You notice I got a new poster right here. There we go, right there. Yep. That's my poster from New Year's Eve. Behind me are my favorite shows, the ones that have kind of got some significance to it as the DJ. I'll even give you a quick little view into my kitchen. Over there are my favorite shows I booked at the Red Line Tap, as well as the when I was in Chicago. All these shows here have significant meaning to me. This was the last year I ran a rock club in the city of Chicago. And every one of these shows on this wall, hi Daisy, was a sellout. If you notice there's a certain overtone to it, that's some punk and metal and hardcore. Yeah, I grew up listening to punk, hardcore, and metal from the time I was like 10 or 11 until I still do listen to it. But it's just not, predominant in my life because my DJ world is definitely top 40 club and remix stuff. And on this wall here's the latest edition, New Year's Eve 2020. I was at Chasers this year, and there's a reason behind that. I was supposed to be at the W, but last minute, Bill Brody, owner of the W and Chasers, messaged me and said the New Year's Eve DJ canceled, that we'd hooked up already. So when I found out my friend Quaddy was available, he's the DJ for the Packers and for the Milwaukee Bucks. By far the top DJ in this state, if not in the Midwest. So I stepped down to Chasers, and he took over the W. Biggest sports bar. It's fitting. And it was a great night for both of us from what I've gathered. But yeah, so that's my latest addition to my favorite posters on my wall. And so with that, you might want to call me slightly sentimental at times, what have you. But yeah, I was pretty stoked to add a new New Year's Eve poster. And I'll be back down at Chasers for 2021. And I'm 99.9% sure Quaddy's going to be back over the W. So if you enjoyed New Year's Eve in Madison with us this year, come on back down. It'll be another great week or great night. But yeah, so I got the DDJ-RR out today. And this is the controller I tend to use at weddings. It's smaller than the RZ, lighter, and there's a couple of reasons. Unless I'm at a wedding where they've asked me for a straight club set, I really don't need anything more to DJ a wedding than the DDJ-RR. It's a very nice machine. First deck I learned on in the new age. Now, you hear all these kids joking about, I learned on CDJs. Son, go get yourself a pair of 1200s. Or better yet, go get yourself a pair of inferior turntables that aren't that great. I think I had an Onkyo at one point. I had a whole slew of shitty turntables until I bought myself a pair of 12s. And my 12s are in my basement right now in boxes. I haven't gotten cases for them yet. And I still got to get cartridges and needles. I bought them last year. And I got a stellar deal on them. I just don't feel comfy busting them out yet on my setup because I haven't really had the time or patience to work with it. But, so, the DDJ-RR, if people are wanting to learn how to DJ, it is kind of an entry level, a little bit better than entry level, all-in-one DJ controller. It's not an all-in-one. You need a computer for this model. Same with my RZ. But anybody who knows, I'm a record box DJ. I learned on 1200s and Panasonic video machines, and that was, 30-some years ago. If I'm going to be 47, 30 years ago is when I started learning how to do all this. And entering into the new era, when you just didn't make a playlist anymore, you couldn't put it on autoplay, things like that, I had to relearn a lot of it. I I had to learn what each individual button on a deck does, how to work with a deck, because it's not like working with a turntable. Now, on my RR and RZ, I have them set up like the DDJ RZ. So when I hit buttons, my RR will work like my RZ. If you understand what I mean there. You can set them either way. I prefer to have mine, and the RZ is a bigger board, has a little bit more functionality and feature. It's not as stripped down as the RR. But the RR is what I use when I go to weddings for the most part. This year there were a few weddings I brought the RZ out, and maybe I shouldn't have, but whatever. It didn't get wrecked and nothing happened to it. But yeah, I'm a fan of the Pioneer products. So, with that in mind, I actually decided to come up with, what has become my standard of kicking off a wedding. Because when you kick off a wedding, honestly, you're coming out as a DJ. You're coming out of what is the first, I'm doing this coming out of the first few dances. First dance, mother, son, father, daughter, and if necessary, the anniversary dance. Those are the first four dances that you have when the reception of a wedding starts. And how you come out of those dances will dictate what you do with the crowd in front of you at a wedding. Now, my philosophy behind that after 3 years full-time in this, back full-time as a wedding DJ, don't get me wrong. I've done weddings from the 90s all the way to present, both with my band, the Mudflaps, and as a DJ, but never really had to delve into it in this manner and perfect every last aspect of what I do. So, my initial run in a wedding set, and what I like to call my first pass, it means my first 10 to 15 song set coming out of the dances, and when I work my way up, and in this set I only work up to about 130 in BPM, beats per minute, and then crash back down to 50 or 60 with a slow song. Or less. Now remember, if you're a wedding DJ, if you're bombing that night, always go to your back pocket and pull out a slow song. When you pull out a slow song, you get every couple, and those who brought dates back on the floor, those who are trying to hook up. It happens at weddings. I've seen the gamut. But it brings everybody back to the dance floor. It's a common regrouping point, musically speaking. Now, once you have that slow song, and say for example, you played Baby Got Back, and it bombed. One, you shouldn't be playing that early on. If there's anybody over 60 there, or 50 or 60 is pushing it. But say, for example, let's go backwards. You played Earth, Wind, and Fire September, and it bombs, which is a rare song to bomb for any DJ. And most DJs will agree with me on that. Throw a slow song on, regroup, and take a look at your crowd again. Which ones were fastest out in the dance floor for a slow song? Which ones were the slowest? Now, if you have a predominant group of a lot of people rushing the slow song, maybe play a second more slow pace, but a little bit more upbeat song right out of that. It gives you time to evaluate. Every song you throw on as a DJ, you need to look at your crowd and make sure it's doing what you want. If it's not, then you're messing up. But here, so I'm going to go back to my wedding set. And when I come out of any slow song, this is kind of the order I go for, and it caters more to an older demographic without excluding any of the young crowd as well. These are more or less some of the timeless songs that people know. So out of the first slow song, I will go to Cupid Shuffle, but I have my own version of it. Fishing in the Dark. Some people say don't play two line dances together. Yeah, I disagree. It gives you a feel for who's in your floor. And those two line dances cover 60 to 70% of every demographic out there. Then from Cupid Shuffle, Fishing in the Dark, into Can't Stop the Feeling from Timberlake. Because now I've played two kind of older songs. Let's play something from the 2010s. Then into Uptown Funk. Push that same year up, push this tempo and years. Now that I've played two modern songs in that mix, I'm going to go to an old song, which will be Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. Then from there, I will go with Blurred Lines, into Sugar, from Maroon 5, into the Cha-Cha Slide, into Sweet Caroline, into September. Now this keeps my beats going upward and the up and down phrasing of year by year. I can play some for this year, I can play some for this group, so on and so forth. It gives a great idea. So here's what we're going to do. I've said it before, I want to bring everybody on right now and let you get a little listen, and I'm going to flip this over a little bit here and there too. But I'm going to say start, for example, Lone Star Amazed. It's a very popular song. So, y'all ready for this? Here we go. All right. So, we're now you hear that last vocal track. Now here comes Cupid Shuffle. Now, I'm using this very specific version of the Cupid Shuffle. I don't have to beat match, and I can let the vocals do the work for me. Here you go. And here comes the drop. All right. Now, the next song I'm going to put on is going to be Fishing in the Dark. It's close in BPM, so I'm not making a big jump, but it also caters to the older crowd. Now, I'm going to bring you back to my computer here. These are my cue points, which I don't have for either song because I don't need them. But when I leave Cupid Shuffle, I'm going to want to echo out when I do it. So, my pad effects are ready to go. Now, my next song, like I said, is going to be Fishing in the Dark. And if you look at it, that's where the track starts. And because of how I echo out on Cupid Shuffle, I can echo out into that guitar line. So, I'm going to flip you back over and let you watch a little bit as I do this. All right. All right, I hope everybody can see that clearly. But now, right in here, this is where the song's going to cut out, drop, and end. Now, Cupid Shuffle, like I said, is one of those songs that it's called a banger. I never thought it was a banger per se, but it's one of those songs that always works for a wedding. Everybody and their grandmother knows it. It's kind of like an anthem of sorts. And when you're playing party songs, it's one of those good, what am I looking for? Songs that make people do stuff together. Sing-alongs, that kind of, it draws you to do stuff. So, I'm going to turn you back over to my computer now, because we're almost out of this song. And I've got this ready to go. Wait, I think I got another little bit here. But if I wanted to drop it out here, I can drop it out here because it's only vocals and a click track. But this is my first song in a wedding after the first dances. And if you'll notice, I'm not even wear headphones. I know these songs that well. It's kind of funny. But here's where my drop is going to be for Cupid Shuffle, when it drops out. And when I need to drop my next track in. And it's going to have one more thing, one more track through. And every song in my wedding set, and I won't lie about it, that George Marcus from Legends had a very big impact on how I think as a DJ. And the drop is coming. Here we go. Now, I've got my track this is the track I'm coming into. It's ready to go. And I'm going to line up underneath where it comes out right here. Now, if you can hear how I did that, that was just echoing out the Cupid Shuffle into the guitar intro of Fishing in the Dark. Now, I'm going to make a pretty big jump. This is at 80 beats a minute, more or less. I'm going to jump up 30 beats a minute. Because now I've got, with these two songs, a big group of people should be motivated, dancing, and interacting together. Now I can kind of push them to what I want them to do now, which is dance. So, I'm going to 113 beats a minute, and actually, I'm going to jump that up to 115. And there's a reason behind that. It makes it easier for me to beat match and whatnot when I come out of Can't Stop the Feeling. So, I bump this up to 115 beats a minute. Uptown Funk comes in at 115 beats a minute. So, my first, and I will keep, I'm notorious for doing this. Some people have called me out on it. I don't give a rat's ass. It helps my sets along a little bit. One, yeah, I push, if it's a dance track, 9 times out of 10, I will always bump the beats per minute up 2 or 3, minimum. On a song like Truth Hurts from Lizzo, which is, in my opinion, is too damn slow, I bump that up to about 92 beats a minute. And I have to drop the key down so it stays on the key it's supposed to and it doesn't sound all weird. And that's not her voice. That sounds weird. Something's wrong. And it's one of the tricks you can use in the new era of DJing. Beat matching, key matching, or beat matching you could do before. But key matching when you jump up the BPM. You couldn't do that 20 years ago. They didn't have that available. So I've had to learn all these new tricks, so to speak. And this is one of the ones I like to use. Just like the echo effect. Back then in the day, you brought one fader down while you faded over to the other side. Or turn your bass down. There were different ways to make it sound clean, refined, if you weren't at like 120 locked and loaded all night. And even then, you used to have to mark your records with little dots on them for the one track you used on an LP. And all that stuff. Now, we're right about near the end of Fishing in the Dark. There's something else I am going to do as I fade out of this. Now, I'm going to wait until this last vocal phrase that comes in right here, because I'm not hard mixing. Here we go. As it starts fading out. And there you go. That's the transition from Fishing in the Dark to Can't Stop the Feeling from Timberlake. All right. I'm going to speed this up a bit for you all. All right. Now, the next song I'm going to put in is going to be Uptown Funk. And it's almost a guarantee that I'm going to do this. But again, I have my very specific versions I use. And as a DJ, you need to find yours. So I'm going to stop Timberlake here. And we're going to go to the end of the song. Now, that's Can't Stop the Feeling. So we're going to do this now. Here's the end of that song. Now, I'm going to drop a very specific version of Uptown Funk at the end of this vocal track. And you can almost can't hear that I've switched tracks yet, because that click track. And now, boom. So, you plan that correctly. Everybody knows that do from Uptown Funk, and I could have shortened that up, but I'm just running you through it. I don't want all my secrets getting out. But now, I have gone 2 well-known songs, two modern songs. Now, some people may or may not want to give me shit for playing Michael Jackson. Personally, I don't care. In the market I'm in, it's very applicable and playable. So, I'm going to go with it. And I think I've got the version I want here yet. No, I don't. So, I'm going to pull up Billie Jean. I'm going to Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, like I said. And I'm looking for a certain one I downloaded recently. Yeah, all right, I got it. Although I honestly thought I downloaded a different one. Ah, here it is. I found the one I want. Now, again, as a DJ, I'm always looking for better tracks or better versions of the song I'm already DJing. And there's like 10 different versions of certain songs in my queues or on my computer. And that's because, I found a better one than the one I've been using recently. I'm always looking to improve my sets. So, I download music a lot. I try to download music every chance I get to improve my sound, improve what I bring out, and give better tracks. A rule I have that me and Cassandra have, who's a pilot of 3.0, and I'm going to stop this. And I even have them set up to stop like regular turntables. But, so if I screw up, I can hit it again and no one will really catch the fact that I've screwed up. But I always try to keep my sets fresh, entertaining, and changing. Now with weddings, it's a little different because there's 400 wedding tracks across the United States and beyond that are all gonna work. So I try to make them sound a little bit better. But I always try to keep new and entertaining music in my computer that will keep people interested at weddings, clubs, etc. And for example, I used the last couple of weeks of December knowing I was going to be down in Madison and I'm at the W, or Chasers rather, and I'm not supposed to play gangster rap. I'm not supposed to play any hard hip hop or anything like that. So I took the month of December, which I was, my December Bender club season, to prep for that. And I got a chance to bust out some of my favorite tracks of 2020 frequently that worked. They're dance bangers. And got to prep. So the last week of December, I was refining everything I'm going to do for the next few weeks, or the ideas I had in my head. And a lot of it was spot on. Maybe it's because I used to be a musician or still am. I don't know. But I'm always downloading music looking for better tracks. So we're going to go back to Uptown Funk here. But all I'm going to do is put you near the end of it. All right, now we're near the end of Uptown Funk. And this, I don't even need to echo out or anything. I'm going into Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. So, we're going to turn that this way, and you can see what I'm going to do here. Now, I'm also going to loop Uptown Funk. As I fade through. And now, filter out. All right. Now, Billie Jean is 4.5 minutes long. But that's how you go from, that's how I go from Uptown Funk, a more contemporary song, and play something older. With that, now I got Michael Jackson playing, blah, blah, blah. I'm also at 118 beats a minute. The next thing I'm going to throw on is Blurred Lines, unless it's on my Do Not playlist. Then I'm just going to go straight into Sugar from Maroon 5. But the reason I want to go to Blurred Lines, it's 120, I'm at 118 beats a minute now. So, and throughout the progression of this song, I might bump up the beats per minute behind a drum beat so you don't notice it. Now I'm going to pull out Blurred Lines. And I'm going to turn you back so you can see what I'm doing here. Now, I've got the versions of Blurred Lines I like to use. Now, my favorite version of Blurred Lines is a disco version, and I can echo out in Billie Jean somewhere near the end of the song. So, we've got the M-Rock's disco banging version of Blurred Lines. So, I'm going to stop it here and progress down to where I would probably get close to my drop out. And see, this is probably where I'm going to drop out and echo out. So, we're going to come back to that. And I know to hit the echo button right in here. So, let's go back to my cue point. My HQ point is always my outro cue point. So, let's spin back this a little bit. Now, blah, 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 it's been playing. So, I'm now ready to come into Blurred Lines. And I'm only playing 3 minutes of this song. So now, here we go. And that's how I do my segue from Blurred Lines Billie Jean into Blurred Line. And now, the M-Rock Disco Bangin' version has that duh. So when I echo, I can use that duh under the echo to transition over. And again, I'm always bumping up my turntables a couple beats a minute. So, with that, I'm going to now pull up Maroon 5's Sugar. And if you notice in this crate here, as I go further and further up, I know Sugar is going to be coming right after that. So, I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to stop Blurred Lines for a minute, get to the cue point here. Now, the way I have my cue points, D is where the vocal drop comes in. C is the first cycle of 4 measures before, or right before the vocal drop. So if I screw up, I hit C, it's going to drop me right before the vocal. A and B are each for a total of 8 measures out. So I have 16 measures of which I can use to loop underneath whatever I need to do to prep my track. So I know Blurred Lines, and I'm going to let you hear where Blurred Lines ends here. And it ends right here. So I will do this. And now when the next track comes in, and once you learn to read your app, 9 times out of 10, you don't even need the cue points. You can just remember the song, look at where you are on the song visually, and go from there. So, I'm going to back this up till I get 30-some measures. Here we go. Now, I'm going to echo out and come on to the D point. Watch. And that wasn't perfect, in my opinion. I could have done that a little better, but I'm just talking with you, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But that's how I'm going to get from Blurred Lines to Sugar. Now I'm going to take you to the last 3 songs in this wedding set. Now the last 3 songs in this set are going to be Cha-Cha Slide, which I need to regroup everybody back on the floor, because if nobody liked Sugar the way it should work, I got another group participation song to get everybody back as a group again. And where I go from there is up to me. Now, there's a couple ways you could go, but I generally hold one of these back till later and prefer to go to Sweet Caroline early on after Cha-Cha Slide. Now, there's 2 reasons behind that. Sweet Caroline has that doot, 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 which is not exactly the same BPM as Cha-Cha Slide, but I can filter out Cha-Cha Slide, which is a high pass or a low pass filter, and put that bass line from Sweet Caroline over it slowly. Then from Sweet Caroline, I'm going to go into September from Earth, Wind, and Fire. These are all timeless songs, or songs that are known by an entire large demographic that people understand, can relate to, and will all group together, participate, and dance together. And this will keep, in your wedding, should keep anything from toddlers, because you've got like Can't Stop the Feeling in there, which has been featured in Trolls from Disney, and always keep that stuff in mind. If there are some popular pop and top 40 songs that have been featured in a Disney flick, those are the bangers that, one, parents will go and dance with their kids with on the dance floor, kids will dance on the dance floor, and you will get a younger to older mixed demographic out on your dance floor. So, let's just go towards the end of Sugar from Maroon 5. We're getting close, and now I'm going to load up Cha-Cha Slide, which comes in at 122 beats a minute. And I'm already at 122 here. Now, with Cha-Cha Slide, I tend not to speed that up too much. People will know, that's one of the few songs that people will notice. So the most I'll bump that up is to 123 or 124, which is 2 beats a minute faster. Anything else, people are, you just don't want to. So let's get to the end of Sugar from Maroon 5, and I'm going to turn you back. So, and again, I'm going to echo out after the vocal drop. Right through. Now, while I can, I'm jumping up 2 BPM, like I said, and that's it. I'm at 124. Don't want to go any faster with this one song. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is Sweet Caroline, which comes at 126, so I don't have to make any changes, sync, or anything. And yeah, I will use sync a lot, especially when I want my sets to sound clean. Let's not play around. You need to make the best. I'm going to pause cha-cha. When you're DJing, anywhere you are, you need to make the best impression, sound, cleanest, smoothest, every possible avenue to make your sound refined and clean you need to do. So yeah, I use the sync button a lot. I also do a lot of loops, and it helps keep those loops neat and not screwing them up. So yeah, I use sync, I use every tool that's available on this deck. Echo, high pass, reverb, even something like this here. I'll use that occasionally. But everything that's available to you, why make fun of, why not use it? It's there to make you sound better, look better, whatever you're doing. It's a tool. And everything that's available in this modern age, use it as it is. It's a tool to make what you do better. And you can compare that to, I do side work in construction. You look at something when you're building, someone was building stuff 40 years ago, 50 years ago, or the turn of the century buildings. How these guys were able to make these buildings neat, clean, and orderly with hand tools. But now, you have power tools. Same kind of thing. It's the same principles, but you're just amped up to make it easier and make it more, in this realm, make it more professional sounding. Do cool stuff with it. So, now the next thing I'm going to pull up is Sweet Caroline. And that comes in at 125, 126 beats a minute. So that's in my deck now. And I'm going to get near the end of this on my deck and turn you back through here. So, Cupid Shuffle or Cha-Cha Slide's about to end here. So, what I'm waiting for here now is the last vocal phrase which comes in here. And what I'm going to do, if anybody tell you any different, they're telling you dead wrong. So in the meantime, in between time, I'm out of here. Platinum, take them home. Now, clean through, and the net, okay. That's a clean way through this song. And if you hear that transition, I use what's called a high filter or a high pass filter to kill the bass in Cha-Cha Slide while leaving the click track, what would be the hi-hat, whatever you want to call it, to make my way through. Now, the next song I'm going to make in this whole run is September from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now, and this is my general run. Sometimes I might play some of these in a different order or a different way. Like, instead of putting Sweet Caroline there, I might put Don't Stop Believin' from Journey. I tend to play that later, though, because you need a lot of those group participation songs in a wedding celebration because everybody needs to celebrate. It's not just a dance, it's a celebration. Not only is it the most important day of somebody's life, perhaps, it's a celebration for friends, family, loved ones to celebrate with you. So a wedding reception needs to have group participation. If you don't have it, you're going to have a disconnect between everybody out there. Whereas in a nightclub, pump, 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 beat, push the beat, make people dance. But in this scenario, a wedding, it's a group of people. You've invited a bride and a groom. You invited your best friends and closest family members to celebrate with you. It's not just we're having a dance. You guys are celebrating. And it's a DJ's responsibility as well as basically job to encourage and work with people for celebrating as a group. Yes, you have the slow dances. And yes, near the end of the night, you start really pumping that beat out. But the first few hours of it, it's a group effort. Now people start dropping off after a couple hours of dancing, And we start going from there where it becomes more of a dance. Because at that point, people are sauced up and just want to dance, just like in a nightclub. Here, look at a wedding like a date night, for example. Date night, you go to dinner. Or you go like to a movie. Enjoy the show. Now, which is the wedding ceremony, so to speak. Now we're going to dinner, which everybody does at a wedding as well. Next step of that date night is going out dancing and drinking. And it takes everybody a little bit to get sauced up in the right mood to drink and dance when they're drinking. So you have to keep all of this in mind. How do I forego, how do I make that dinner jump faster? Get the group out there. Interactive. That's what you want your wedding celebrations to be. That's just my personal opinion. I could be totally effing wrong, but I don't think so. And this is just what I've learned in this market, which may not be as applicable to other markets, but this is the market I work in the most and live in the most. So, yeah, I'm going to go with what's been working here for my weddings. And a lot of brides seem to think that and like my mentality on it. Couples, not just brides. So, right now, the last run on this set is from Sweet Caroline into Earth, Wind, and Fire September. Timeless. So, let's go to the end of Sweet Caroline, and we're just going to do this now. And here we go. I'm going to use the guitar part of September. Here we go. I think I screwed that up, but whatever. It's just giving you an example. I'm not letting you hear all of my secrets today. Can't. So, that's how you work my first pass at a wedding set. And I'm just going to do that. But that's how I think about it all when I work at a wedding as a DJ. Others have a different mentality, but that's theirs. What worked for them worked for them. I have found that how I've done my weddings works for me. And seeing that, knock on wood, shut up, that one, I'm booked through into 2021 already. I got them excited. But seeing I'm already booked through 2021, into 2021, and for weddings, and I get messages, not thankfully, to the good Lord above, these skills I have in my brain are working for what I do. People like it. It's a great thing. And with that in mind, I look to improve that. And maybe if what you've seen today helps another DJ out here, good. I hope it does help. I'm more than happy to help anyone improve what they're doing. And in fact, I recently, let's see that. But yeah, I'm more than happy to help any friends that need help, want to learn this, learn my mentality, pick it all up and all that. I'm more than happy to help. I like teaching. I like, kind of mentoring, but I'm not a teacher. I'm not a great teacher. Someone said I should teach music recently. I'm like, no, I'm a terrible teacher. But if you need a little help learning some of this, I'm more than happy to show you my brain behind it, which a couple DJs have already asked me. But that's how I work my wedding set. Now, since today is, Mira's first day back at school from Christmas break, and I'm not going to lie, this last Christmas break had me completely screwed up in the head. I was sick for part of it, had the side job going, so I just couldn't, make heads or tails of a few weeks of my life. With that in mind, it's 2020. Did it. Yeah, I've got work to do today. Now, some of the stuff I'm going to be doing today is I'm working on my new promo material, my new POS, my new stickers, the whole 9 yards. And coming out with, I'm getting a bunch of stuff ordered. I'm just trying to figure out how, when, and where. I got a new hat too. Sorry the Badgers lost. Yes, I'm conceding I'm never moving back to Chicago, Illinois, folks. So Wisconsin is where I'm staying. But nevertheless, I'm working on my promo materials as well as my new rack cards and all of that. Later this week, I'm reassessing later day, I need to reassess all my gear needs for this year and prioritize what I think I need versus what I need versus what I want. 3 completely different realms. From there, I've got some house crap to do. I need to go through my computer, go through my notes, my work, and all that, and figure it out and like get through everything I've been putting off during the last couple weeks with Christmas break, the whole 9 yards. Now, I need to work on my 2020 calendar. There's a few dates I need to square up. I have confirmed New Year's Eve, and I'm pretty sure Quaddy's going to do the same. Then from there, I need to reevaluate my booking dates. For example, March and April, May, I have holds or they're booked, but I need to make some changes in them. There's also another venue in town that it's fair time I go talk to them in person, and we're going to leave it at that. I've messaged them. They've gotten back to me. We're going to go sit and talk at one point because I've got a new mentality for what I want to do or tweaking what I want to do for 2020 and 2021. The next things we've got in mind today. One, some social media promo. Let's see here. And how I approach that. I'm also going to be starting to work on making some movies of what I do. And because I'm hosting the open mic, I've got to, in a couple of weeks, I got to sort my music binder out. There's a lot of songs in my binder that I've kind of learned but don't play very often. Some I know, so don't need them. I just got to sort those out. I've got to make some messages to some clubs I'm working with for some ideas. And here's something cool. This is what I did for New Year's Eve. That was my New Year's Eve light configuration. Because I was in a smaller room than the W, I reset my whole lighting configuration. And one of the beautiful things about being a Record Box DJ, and I'll even show you this. Record Box has lighting mode, for those of you who don't know. And lighting mode enables you to honestly program your lights. This is my full version number 1. And then here was what I did for New Year's Eve. And you can drag and drop. All you have to do is properly number each one of your lights. And don't fuck it up like I did. I left a blank space there. But yeah, so I have different configurations for my lights. This is my small one, which this is just 4 Chauvet par 38. So very simple. Or I can just use my Chauvet Spot 6 for a similar result. This is my medium-sized one, which has 4 slim pars, 2 mini moving heads, and 4 mini quintas. This is my full setup, which has 8 slim par 38s, or my full, the biggest one I want to carry around. 4 8 par 38s, 4 moving heads, 4 mini quintas, and 4 spider lights, or 2 spider lights. This is a small, these are just different variations of my small setup. This is my medium setup, which is just half of my full comfortable one. This is for 4 moving heads. And then this is for my New Year's Eve. Now, all my set lights are numbered the same, so I can just drag and drop them accordingly to where they need to be in the app. With my one, yeah. But that's how I have my lights set up. Now, if you're a Record Box DJ, it makes life incredible. Because some of the clubs I'm in, I can walk into, plug Record Box in. I've already got their light numbers, and go. I just have to save those somewhere and remember to reload those when I get back to that room. It's a wonderful add-on to Record Box. So it does my audio, my video, and my lighting. And I can't speak highly enough about the app. It blew me away. I've checked out Serato, but not enough to really have a good educated feel on it. But from what people have told me, Record Box is a little bit more friendly to DJs and sorting and filing your music. I like it. Works great for me. I like how I've got it set up. Mine's kind of set up like a hybrid of like how I would have had my turntable crates set up years ago, as well as kind of more of a turntable setup here. But yeah, so that's how, if you're a Record Box DJ, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I've also got in mind, I'm bringing it back. It was something I used to do at Carly's in June's, the mid-June funk, where the 2 middle weeks of June, my club dates were just me playing steppers, funk, R&B, and a little bit of like poppy hip hop. I've come to the conclusion, I'm not playing no gangster rap anymore. I'm not playing hardcore rap in my sets anymore. It don't fit me, and I want nothing to do with it, honestly. I don't want to hear some dudes talking about shooting, beep, hose, this, that, or the other. Because one, I'm never going to play that crap at a wedding. And two, it doesn't fit the music I put forth. Now, don't get me wrong. If the moment comes up, yeah, I'm going to play an occasional banger of a hip-hop song, but I don't like playing gangster rap. It's not my thing. Never has been, probably never will be. I might know it, but... Then the other thing I have to do is I'm realizing I have to check my calendar versus my events on my Facebook page and webpage. I want to make sure all the events correspond correctly. Then, one thing I've been thinking about doing, which I may do today, after I break down my tree, because I'm going to set up a mini studio up here in the house, is I'm going to make an 80s freestyle mix. As you all know, I'm a kid of the 80s. I was joking with a friend the other day, I can still go, the Beat Street theme song, I can still recite the Beat Street theme song word for word, up until like the second chorus. And yeah. I'm going to make me an 80s freestyle mix, something to chill to in the car, but kind of enjoy too. I miss that stuff. So I'm sure some of my friends do too. And with that, I got to get to work, break this down. I hope you guys enjoyed what I did today. I hope if you're a DJ that you might have learned something from me. And if you want to learn more from me, by all means, hit me up. I'm more than happy to help, teach, work with you a little bit, and get you on your way. But all that aside, I do have to give a great big birthday shout out to a really good friend, the person who gave me my first gig in this industry, Mr. Leroy Fields. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope it's a great one. And everybody else, have a great day. Happy New Year. If you're DJing tonight, because it is Thursday, may your dance floors be packed. All right, everybody. Happy New Year.